So, of course, we send sincere salute and flapping accolades to your amazing teachers, your faculty, and stellar students. And listen, I want to congratulate you on your achievements, but like the late, great, legendary Kobe Bryant said, job's not done. Hear me, job's not done. What it took, especially for my seniors, what it took for you to get to college won't keep you in college. You got to work harder. You got to think smarter. And check this out. I know you're the smartest and I know you're the hardest working person in your class. But what are you willing to do to be the smartest and the hardest working person on your college campus with a purpose when it's 8,000+ other young people who have the same desire to be as great as you? What it took to get to the top is not what it's going to take to stay on top. You're going to have to work nonstop. You're going to have to understand what you're getting ready to do, whether it's with your skilled trade, whether it's with you going to college, whether it's with you being a community innovator, educator, going to another level with higher education, that the sky is not the limit for you, it's just of you. What or who inspires you to keep going when you don't feel like going? I want to ask you that question. Who or what inspires you to keep going when you don't feel like going? When you don't feel like waking up early in the morning? When you don't feel like taking care of your STEM, your science, your technology, your engineering, your math, your English, your history, and your civics classes? Who or what inspires you to keep going? Is it a mama? Is it grandmama? Is it an aunt? Is it your grandfather? Is it your father? Who is it? I want to leave you with 3 specific elements that I want you to employ to take your life and your mindset and your success to the next level. Number 1, what I want you to do is I want you to turn up. Turn up is more than just a hip hop song. Turn up is more than just about what you do at a party. Turning up is about more than what you do to twerk. It's about what you're willing to do to work. Talk to somebody today. Listen, growing up, my favorite 2 classes in high school were gym and lunch. Yeah. My favorite 2 classes in high school were gym and lunch. I wanted to chase the girls in gym and then sit down and eat with them at lunch. And my grades were indicative of that. And my guidance counselor told me, she said, Eddie, you're not going to college. Matter of fact, don't even think about community college. Pick up a trade. She saw me where I was, but she didn't see me for where I was going. She saw me that I was never going to go to college, but today I stand before you as a professor at a college with a PhD, but for her it stood for a player-hater degree. But here's the thing I learned. In chemistry class, I learned this, that water steams at 211 degrees, but it boils at 212 degrees. Isn't it interesting? It's just 1 degree difference from steam to boil. It's just 1 degree difference that makes a difference. And I'm wondering, do I have somebody today that's willing just to turn up just a little bit more? You can work a little bit more harder. You can work a little bit stronger. You can be around one better person in your life. You can do something better in your community and in your hood. You can complete 1 more assignment. What are you willing to do to turn up the temperature and actually make it happen? For your mama, for your grandmama, for your brother, for your sister, for your cousin, for your niece and your nephew and them who's looking at you to say, yeah, she gonna do it. So guess what? That inspires me to now not give up, but to keep on looking up. Listen, there's a difference between skill and will. All of us got skill, but very few of us have the will to go out and make it happen. Do you have the will to will yourself when you don't feel like doing the homework? Do you have the will to will yourself to apply for not the loan, but the grant, the scholarship? And actually understand that you getting an education is not you selling out, is you buying into your future. Champion. You're not chained to your past, you changed for your future. You're not a whiner, you're a winner. You got to recognize the value and the purpose that you have that's on the inside of you. Are you giving 110%? And see, the problem is a lot of us give 110% to Snapchat. We give 110% to TikTok because we don't stop. We give 100%, 110% to Instagram, and I don't know who's still on Facebook. Maybe some of y'all got MySpace. We give 110% to all of these other things and these videos and twerking and all this other stuff. But what are you willing to do to give 110% to your future? Some of us only giving 30%. Some of us only giving 50%. Some of us only give 110% when we feel like it. But you got to recognize people died for you to be in this place today. People suffered for you. People went through sweat and tears and put clothes on your back and shoes on your feet and a roof over your head. Not for you to come here and play, but for you to make sure that you make this thing happen to go to the next level. Because our world, our generation needs you more than ever before. You're not just the next generation, you're the now generation. Told you, number one, you got to turn up. Number two, you got to look at life through a new lens. It don't take you where. I never was the best reader in school, so I always read the word impossible as I'm possible. You got to put the apostrophe between the I and the M and impossible and see it as I'm possible. Who told you what you can't do? Who told you what you can't become or what you can't overcome? Life is 10% what happens to you, but 90% how you react to it. Hear me. Many of us are looking at the 10% of our life and making it 100%. What do I mean by that? Your father not being in your life was only 10%. You being hurt or abused, or people who you think were going to heal you and help you, but they wound up hurting you and harming you, and now you're dealing with the trauma in your life. It's only 10%. What you going to do with the rest of the 90? Are you going to complain? Are you going to compare? Are you going to compete? Are you going to try to worry about who got what? You looking at somebody else's chapter 1 and trying to make it your chapter 30. What are you going to do about your life now? Can't point the finger at everybody else. Can't play the blame game. It's only 10%. What will you do with the rest of the 90? You got to recognize that you have value that's on the inside of you. My brothers and my sisters, there's a king, there's a queen that's on the inside of you. You come from kings and you come from queens. You got to recognize that there's royalty inside your DNA. Your royalty demands loyalty. Are you willing to be loyal to the gift, the dream, the purpose, the talent, the will, the sweat equity, the hard work of what it takes for you to be successful? Listen, I'm getting ready to be out of here. I'm getting ready to log off and sign off. I hope I'm saying something to you that's going to hit you. It really makes sense to try to make this thing make sense. Number one, I told you turn up. Number two, I told you look at life through a new lens. Number three, this is what you got to do for you to really win. You got to understand that you got to bounce back from every setback. If we had Big Sean in here, I tell you just like Big Sean. Last night I took an L, but tonight I bounced back. You got to recognize. Hear me, if we had the movie The Color Purple on the screen in here, I tell you, just like Sophia, all my life, I had to fight. Do I got any young people who are some fighters in here? You fought through some storm, you fought through some rain, you fought through some sickness and some pain, you fought through some loneliness, you fought through some depression, you fought through some doubt, you fought through what the media said about you. Being a black young man, a black woman in America, you fought through all the stereotypes, but you're not a stereotype, you're a prototype. You made it this far by faith because you got a praying grandmama. You got a praying mama. You got somebody, you got a teacher who didn't give up on you. You might have been a knucklehead, but guess what? They was going to get it through your head that young man, young woman, young boy, young girl, this is not your time to quit. You too lit to quit. The reason I can tell you that is because, listen, the reason I can tell you not to quit is because I had every reason to quit. You seeing me up in this suit, but you don't see the scars. You seeing me in this suit, but you don't understand that I come from the east side of Detroit, Warren and Connor. You seeing me today where I'm G'd up from the feet up. I could pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing, but I never had to sell a crack rock to get it. I never had to do nothing strange for some change. Facts. Keep it 100 with you. You got to recognize this. Hear me. Your next chapter will be your best chapter. But this is what you got to do. You got to pick up the pen. You got to make it happen. You got to write your story. Society doesn't define your story for you. You define your story for yourself. And you got to understand that we come from a people who fought for everything that they gained. The last four letters in African American, the last four letters in African spells I can. The last four letters in American spells I can. Stop telling me what you can't do. Stop telling me what you can't become and what you can't overcome. I'm up here today because I see greatness that's on the inside of you. I love each and every single one of y'all, and I don't have to know you to love you. You look like me, and so I love you. You got to recognize you are your brother's keeper. You are your sister's protector. Who told you what you can't do? Who said you can't be the first millionaire in your family? Who said you can't be the first person in your generation to ever graduate from college in your bloodline? You can do it. You can overcome the obstacles. You can achieve success. You can uplift the lives of others. You can think outside of the box. You can understand that you don't have to go to do 4 years in a prison house. You can do 4 years at Spelman and Morehouse. You don't have to go to jail. You can go to Cornell and Yale. You don't have to do 4 years in a prison. You can do 4 years at Princeton. Who am I talking to? The reason I say that today, because my guidance counselor told me I'd never go to college. I stood in a convenience store some years ago, and I was inconvenienced because a young man said to me, "Eddie, I thought you died." And I wanted to go oops upside his head. I wanted to be Will Smith and smack him across his face like he was Chris Rock. But here's what I had to do. I had to practice emotional intelligence. I had to calm my emotions. I had to not clench my fist and hit that brother, because I would have had an assault charge. But I had to look at what he said and say, "Nah, bros, you can see I didn't die, but I'm alive." Hear me. We don't die, we multiply. You got to multiply your gifts. And the thing is, if I died to anything, I died to people's negative perceptions. Because at the age of 15, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. My own biological father never visited me one day in the hospital. People who I thought were praying for me were literally praying on me, sitting on the sideline expecting my demise. I lost all my hair. I lost my self-confidence. I lost my self-esteem. I lost my will to live. I was depressed. I was mentally discombobulated. I wanted to give up. I wanted to quit. I wanted to throw in the towel. Nobody thought I would make it. I stand before you as a writer of 14 best-selling books. I stand before you being on all types of media networks. I stand before you speaking all across the country and around this world. I stand before you with a PhD. I stand before you as a college professor, as a mentor, as a leader, as a speaker, as someone who loves a young person like yourself. Don't tell me you can't make it. Because if anybody shouldn't have made it, I shouldn't have made it. This is your time to graduate to the next level. This is your time to say, I'm going to put in the work because I love myself. I love my brother. I love my sister. I'm in love with my future. And I'm going to make this thing happen. And hear me. Freshmen, sophomores, juniors, this is what it's all about. It's about going to the next level. It's about graduating. It's about getting a skilled trade. It's about doing something good in your neighborhood and understanding we don't die, we multiply. And so thank you for this opportunity to share today, because when you get your diploma and when you walk across this stage, seniors, this is what I want you to do. Tell every hater to put some respect on your name.